Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Interview. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every year, Australians send thousands of tonnes of perfectly usable furniture to landfill. At the same time, thousands of people in crisis go without the basics to make a house feel like home. ReLove, capital R-E, capital L-O-V-E, ReLove, is changing that. It's a social enterprise that rescues corporate and household furniture and redirects it to people in need, including women fleeing domestic violence, refugees, and people exiting homelessness. Ben Stammer is the co-founder of ReLove. Next month, he'll be part of Regen, Australia's Circular Resource Expo, a great supporter of this podcast. Regen is being held at the ICC in Sydney, July 23 to 24, bringing together industry, government and innovators to fast-track Australia's transition to a circular economy. Ben, welcome to Fear and Greed.
Thanks, Sean.
Tell me the story of ReLove.
ReLove started about 4 years ago. We're now supporting about 25 families a week, and we're aiming to get to 1,000 families this year. But we started somewhat accidentally. We were, me and my co-founder, Ren, used to run a running group. The running group was looking to do some social good projects. So, we were running 2-3 times a week, but also looking to engage in what was happening around our community. So things like, just looking at people experiencing homelessness, how can we support them? So we did a drive to raise 600 pairs of running shoes and took them up to the Wayside Chapel. The average person experiencing homelessness is walking about 28 kilometres a week. So that was much needed for the visitors of Wayside. But it was also for our group about learning and just really learning what's amongst us, what's amongst our community. One of the projects that we then did was put a call out for furniture. It was the end of COVID time, and we were, lots of people were throwing out great quality furniture onto the council cleanups. So this inspired us to do a project around furniture. We were working with the women's shelter in Sydney, and we were targeting to try to rehome 5 women, so get enough furniture and household items to rehome 5 women. We ended up just tapping into this great source of pre-loved and other furniture that is destined for landfill. So we ended up over the first few months furnishing the homes of over 35 families, and we became ReLove. So we are somewhat of an accidental charity. I'm an ex-banker and my co-founder's an architect by trade. So we're not from this space, but now we're doing it. We can't look away.
So you both quit your banking architectural jobs and went into ReLove?
Yeah, look, we were both out of it at the time. So we were doing a few other things, but now it's very much a full-time operation.
The numbers in your last impact report are frightening, to be honest. Nearly 1,900 people helped. The numbers are good. The fact that you've got to do it is what's frightening. Nearly 1,900 people helped, 74% of them women, many fleeing domestic violence. How do you do it? I mean, I kind of understand the supply side more than I understand the demand side, to be honest, because the supply side, you can ring organisations and property groups and say, what have you got? How do you actually find the people who need it?
Yeah, really good question. And look, the other stat that I'll just add there is that 40% of our clients are First Nations people.
Oh, wow.
That is not a target
That's
or
tragic.
A requirement. That is the need in our community. We work on a partnership basis. We're not trained social workers and we're not trying to do that piece of the puzzle. We now work with over 85 charities across Sydney, and we work on a caseworker referred basis to ReLove. That's important for a few reasons. Firstly, that people are properly assessed and supported through this transition into, usually from crisis care into housing, but also that when people come into ReLove to shop for everything they need in our free store, we never ask a question. So it's not our place to ask. And lots of people who have been through various crisis services have to tell their story, tell and retell their stories over and over again. And that is retelling trauma.
Yeah. So when you're talking about the people, a lot of Indigenous Australians, what are the age group?
Look, it really ranges. We're supporting, along the spectrum, we're supporting youth at risk. So that's young people, as young as 16 who don't have family support. The foster care system, for example, has failed them. some have experienced homelessness, through their teens, right up to the largest cohort or growing cohort of homelessness, which is women over 50, and sort of everyone in between. Lots of the women that we're supporting are young mums. So very sadly, lots of domestic violence is happening when, mum's either pregnant or had quite young babies. So in the last 12 months, of all the kids that we supported, so supported by a family member, about a third of those kids were 4 and under. So a lot, so a lot of young people.
Incredibly sad. Stay with me, Ben. We'll be back in a minute. My guest this morning is Ben Stammer, co-founder of ReLove and a participant at next month's Regen conference in Sydney. You are doing partnerships with some corporates. I think Canva's one, Minter Ellison might be another. How are they getting involved and what do you need?
Yeah, look, partnerships are incredibly important to ReLove. We've started this really with a community movement, and that's just working every single contact that we have. Lots of corporate contacts, but lots of contacts in the community as well. Corporate partnerships like you mentioned with Canva, we also work with Atlassian, Stockland and others, are incredibly important. Corporate volunteers are a really important source of labour for us. I'm just helping us to get to that 25 moves a week. But also skilled volunteering is really important. We're doing some work with Canva coming up on the people and culture side. We've just done some work with Stockland on, helping us with the marketing of ReLove and our new social enterprise called Restory. So corporate partnerships are really, really important to us. And then, we're working on with some other corporates funding. So Aurelian is a wonderful partner of ReLove's. So it's a building company and they're sponsoring ReLove to help do what we do.
So we've spoken a lot about the people who use your services. What about the environmental impact? 1,228 tonnes of furniture you saved from landfill last year. Is that right?
That's right. So, furniture is the second biggest source of landfill in Australia. Corporate furniture, it's just way too easy to be, backing up the demo trucks and taking out corporate furniture on a defit. 95% of corporate furniture is single use and destined for landfill. So it's depreciated, and then it's kind of worthless. Corporates are looking for a change. The designers are involved, the architects. So we're a really meaningful solution for that. Hotels as well. We recently took out 95 hotel rooms from the Adina Town Hall, run by the Toga Group. That was 47 furniture trucks turning up over 3 days, and all of that furniture is now gone. The other avenue, just from an environmental side, is we've now launched our social enterprise called Restory, and we're selling designer furniture. So this is excess to our clients' needs, but Restory is selling great quality furniture to help fund what we do. So that's a big environmental focus as well.
And I like this term, dignified circularity. Explain that.
Yeah, look, it's dignified in lots of ways. We're providing through free shopping appointments, so coming into our free store for an hour to select everything that you need, we're providing the dignity of choice. For a lot of people that are in a crisis situation or moving on from a crisis situation, people are, often greatly disempowered. And so to have this choice to help restart, choosing exactly how you want to furnish your home is so important. Your home's different to my home.
Yep.
It's such a personal thing. And the goal here is really to help people restart in housing first.
So you're obviously in Sydney. Can you take it national?
It's such a scalable model. We've run pilots in both Melbourne and Brisbane so far. We've run the pilots just with volunteer help, and that's been great. We've proved the model. But what we really need is the financial support to hire staff, to get a little bit of warehouse space. But this is such a scalable model all around Australia. Yeah, the need is very much there. We're constantly getting inquiries from the support side in those cities.
So the Regen Expo is taking place in Sydney, as I mentioned, on the 23rd and 24th of July, a national platform for collaboration across public and private sectors, and very much putting the circular resource economy in the spotlight. How important is it to keep the pressure on policymakers at the moment?
So important. And I think sometimes, the focus is on recycling and it's all about recycling. But reuse in what we're doing is, right at the top, of the reuse and recycling tree.
Yeah.
So, to get policymakers to really be focused on reuse, there's nothing currently in the building space. There's nothing in the furniture space. The Green Building Council is doing some great work and is working on some stuff, but we're really looking for government and other policymakers to step in and raise the profile and the pressure of reuse.
Ben, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
Great. Thanks, Sean.
That was Ben Stammer, co-founder of ReLove. To hear more from dozens of change makers in the circular resource economy, don't miss Regen Expo, REGEN Expo at ICC Sydney, 23 to 24 July. It's free to attend and spans the full journey from design, reuse and repair through to recovery and remanufacturing. Head to regenexpo.com.au to register. I'll put a link in the show notes. This is the Fear and Greed Business Interview. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed Business News you can use. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.